Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, coming to you from the Ahern Hotel in Las Vegas. Howard Stutz joins us, gaming reporter for the Nevada Independent, here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
'Tis the season for the Holiday Cash Express at Tamarack Casino. We're trimming the tree with weekly cash giveaways, including a $5,000 winner every Saturday, plus $70,000 in grand prize stocking stuffers, including two $15,000 Holiday Cash winners guaranteed. It's a good time to win at Tamarack Casino.
Big R in Sparks is located on Bering Boulevard next to Smith's and across from Reed High School. It's a 50,000 square foot clothing store and a whole lot more. For the cold days ahead, jackets, hoodies, flannel shirts, insulated bib overalls, thermal underwear, beanies, and merino wool socks. Big R. Hardware, clothing, and a whole lot more.
For 50 years, Nevada Heating has been keeping people comfortable in their homes. At Nevada Heating, call the do-it-right guys and get the air conditioning back on today. That's the Nevada Heating way. Why sweat for days on end when Nevada Heating can get your air conditioning fixed today? Call us today and we'll fix it today at 323-5585 or schedule us on our website at nevadaheating.com.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
It's the $200,000 Cars and Cash giveaways at Carson Valley Inn. Cash and prize drawings Thursdays and Saturdays. Plus, win a 2023 Ford F-150 or we'll pay you cash instead. Don't miss your chance to play and win. Cars and Cash at the Carson Valley Inn.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we are always delighted to welcome back to the program Howard Stutz. You should have your own parking place here. That's all I can tell you. He's the gaming reporter for the Nevada Independent. So many things going on. Let's start with the Sphere.
Sure.
My director Dave and I went there last night, saw the movie. I want to get your thoughts on it.
Well, you're ahead of me because I have
Really?
not
You have
been.
not
I
been
have not been inside the Sphere.
Oh my gosh!
Nope, haven't been invited. We haven't had the opportunity. I looked at the prices for U2. I like U2. I'm not going to pay that much to go see him. I've seen enough videos from everybody who has been at the Sphere because everybody. You look at the thing and everybody's got the cameras out, their phones out,
Sure.
videoing it. It looks spectacular. I'm going to want to see the first quarter earnings, the next first quarterly earnings with the Sphere to see, okay, where is this? How is this a breakdown? Obviously they're getting big bucks for U2, for the U2 tickets. Where's the breakdown of that? How much is going to the band? How much is going to the Sphere itself? I've heard postcards. You saw the movie. It's spectacular. We all see the outside of it. This was a $2.3 billion venue, and it's going to be a centerpiece during the Formula One race. The grandstands are all around it. You probably saw where the track goes around it now for the race. It's going to be a very.
How does one miss it?
Yeah, you can't miss it. Yeah, it's right there. The focal point. You've seen all the videos online. Somebody the outside of the Sphere, the exosphere, with the emoji. Where there's one where right on the Wynn golf course. It looks like it's making fun of the guy's terrible shot at the golf course. No, it's brought a lot of attention to Vegas. There's been a lot of interest in it. I'm just more curious now. I want to see the numbers and see what it looks like and what are the shows they're going to bring after U2. There's all these different rumors. Harry Styles. You've heard of others. The Eagles final tour. We'll see, and then see what they end up bringing here for it.
Well, you bring up a really interesting point, which is quarterly results. Mm-hmm. What I can say to you is that it looked like T-Mobile after a Knights game with people marching across the bridge into the Venetian. right after. They were doing about 5,000 people per showing for the film, and there were 5,000 people lined up coming across from the Venetian to go to the film. So I mean, I think that from that concept, that was very smart. And I don't know who paid for the bridge. Was that?
It was. That's a good question. I'm pretty sure it was MSG and Venetian combination.
Okay.
I would think that did. But the thing is also Venetian now for the first, since right around G2E this year, now charges for parking. Remember, when the Adelson family owned it, they never charged for parking over there. Wynn reinstituted its paid parking program. I'm waiting for Phil Ruffin to get that idea, and he's going to, because he's the only one left on the Strip that doesn't charge for parking over at Cross Street Treasure Island. I mean, Sphere does not have a lot of parking right now, partly because of Formula One, and they still won't have a lot. But the parking is at the Venetian, and they're, it's typically about $18 a day to pay for parking there. It's a little more when there's a Sphere event. So the Venetian's making money that way. Obviously, you have to walk through past all the restaurants in the Venetian to get over to the Sphere, to go across the bridge, and then coming back. So there's been a money. This was the idea that Sheldon Adelson, the Adelson family had, because this was first created when they owned the Venetian in partnership with MSG. That was their land. That land is now owned by Vici. The land for the Sphere, was like 17, 18 acres, whatever it is. So, yeah, this was always a plan by the Venetian at the time to be part of, they would be an offshoot, get business from the Sphere.
All right, so I talked to Tick Segerbloom earlier today, and I was talking about Formula One and the nightmare of trying to drive along the Strip where the race is going to be, or along Koval. I mean, it's crazy. And the idea that this is going to go up and be taken down each year and he says they only have 3 years that's actually booked with a 7-year option, so it's not a 10-year deal yet. But he's saying, this plan can't work just the way it is right now because Las Vegas can't take it.
Well, I've likened this to the story. Remember the old story where the dog chases the car and the dog catches the car and it's like, now what the hell do I do? Vegas chased Formula One for a while. Caught it 20 months ago, I think that was the announcement when they said this is coming. And it was like, oh my gosh, now what do we do? And what the understanding is that the tearing up the streets and repaving all the almost 4 miles, I guess, that the track is, that's done every 10 years. And the other understanding is, they have but the 3-year contract and a 7-year option. Formula One just invested about $500 million to build this paddock building, where the race, it has the pit row, start and finish line, grandstands, luxury suites. They plan to use that year round, almost like they're kind of come up with the programming for it, for it's like a tourism site. Go see, it'll be like a museum for Formula One. A lot of Formula One fans from all over, they would want to go see it. Sure. They may do something with the track where you can actually drive a car around the track. Very similar that they have out at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where you can drive a NASCAR car around the track. So they're going to come up with ideas for that for year round. And I think once they get the hang of, okay, this is what we had to go through this year, it'll be improved next year. I think they're going to be the naysayers. I'm still skeptical of, I think the ticket prices were too high. It was very hard, for locals. You think? Yeah. Look, I still think you're going to see a huge weekend for the hotels, for the casinos. When I say casinos, a couple companies are offering like $1 million for a suite. Well, somebody's going to come in for that suite. They're not going to pay $1 million. They're putting $10 million into the cage to gamble off of for the weekend. So we're going to see you're going to see these huge planes, all the private jets. Reed Airport actually expanded their private parking area. So
you think it's going to hit the $1 billion?
I mean, I've said this, that it might hit $1 billion for Strip for gaming revenue. I'm still believe there's that chance if they get all the customers that they say they're going to get for Formula One. Now that's going to be the question, and we'll see. We got a month before it, as we're sitting here, it's a little less than a month now before it's on. It runs, so we'll see what happens. But it'll be. This is the growing pains. The first year was going to be like this. Ask MGM. I mean, let's face it. Hornbuckle even said, Bill Hornbuckle, the CEO at the G2E, said, yeah, we know we screwed up. They tore down the trees all in front of the Bellagio.
Right.
Originally, they were going to box them up and bring them back, but then they cut them all down. So that was their mistake. So we'll see what happens.
Tick also said that the $38 million to repave the streets that we thought the county was going to pay for, that's not a done deal yet. That's still in discussion.
There's some issues there. Yeah, the cost of repaving the streets. You know, what are they going to do? How are they going to store all those portable luxury suites they're building? If you go along Koval Lane right now and you see these huge luxury suites that they're building for this race. So there's a lot of questions and growing pains on where this will go now, but I think they want to get the race done, and then they'll come up with all those, start answering a lot of those questions afterward.
And maybe the Netflix international special will be the selling point for everything else. I
guess. I mean, they're bringing that. You know, I guess they're going to play golf or whatever the special is they're going to do, and they're going to be showing this. Listen, I've watched some of Drive to Survive. I'm not a big racing fan, but I've tried to sit through some of it, and so I can understand what this will all be all about, and we'll see what it is after it's all said and done.
After it's all said and done. We'll take a break. We'll be right back with Howard after this.
Safety is the #1 priority for the trucking industry. Over $7 billion a year is spent on technology like this electronic eye that will apply the brakes automatically. But the most important factor for safety is the truck driver. These hardworking men and women who safely move over 70% of our nation's freight and 94% of Nevada's. We thank you because trucks move America forward.
Pro Group Management offers workers' comp services to a growing number of industries. As businesses grow and change with the times, the need for a solid workers' comp program must be flexible and up to date. The evolving nature of regulations can make staying ahead of complex tasks challenging. But Pro Group Management simplifies the work so your industry can move forward and succeed. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Howard Stutz. He is the gaming reporter for the Nevada Independent. You know, it was so interesting watching G2E and the conversations that came out of that about really the worldwide spread, and especially into the Middle East, of potential gaming. Mm-hmm. But it seems to me that for somebody like yourself who covers gaming and has been extraordinary in doing that for all these years, that the field is getting so big. How are you keeping up?
Good question. My focus is really on Nevada. You know, if something happens somewhere else, I'm more interested in how does that affect Nevada gaming. What's fascinating now, and you mentioned the Middle East, that to me could be the biggest change for gaming that we've seen since Macau, because of the United Arab Emirates. Originally, Wynn has a property that they're building on one of the Emirates. Don't ask me to pronounce it, I can't remember. In Dubai, MGM has a property that they were building. It was non-gaming. Now all of a sudden the UAE, announced that they've created a gaming commission. It's headed by Jim Murin,
right,
former chairman, CEO of MGM Resorts. I saw Jim at G2E because he was being honored to the Gaming Hall of Fame. Couldn't really say much about what was going on in UAE. He had his marketing, the person who does the communications for the UAE board. Was there, and I got to meet him and chatted with him a little bit. It's set up very similar to the Gaming Authority in Nevada. Jim is the chairman. It's not a full-time job. There is a CEO, a gentleman by the name of Kevin Mullally, who used to be with Gaming GLI, the big laboratory. He's the CEO of the gaming board, so he's effectively the gaming control board chairman in Dubai. But what's interesting is, instead of the Emirates themselves licensing different properties, it's going to be the UAE licensing it. So they'll be the ones that decide how this plays out. UAE getting gaming it'll be very similar to Singapore. If they may not allow residents, residents of the Emirates to go into the casino. There may be a big fee. Singapore does that.
Right.
If you're a resident of Singapore, you pay $100, maybe more now, to go into Marina Bay Sands or Resorts World Singapore. It's all how this is going to work out. It's still very early in the ball game. Wynn is moving forward with their project. It's about a $4 billion project. It's spectacular looking when you see the renderings, right on the Arabian Sea and the Gulf there. MGM is building. It's about 1,000 hotel rooms, but they're under Aria, Bellagio, and I think and I guess MGM Grand are going to be the three brands of these small hotels there. But they have space for a casino, so we'll see what happens with that. But that to me is the more fascinating thing for for Nevada and companies to go into the United Arab Emirates to operate a casino.
There was a rumor a year or so ago that Las Vegas Sands might come back into the Las Vegas market. Do you see that at all?
I'll put it this way. The Oakview Casino, the Oakview project south of town, Tim Lewicki, the woman that's where they're going to put an arena. Mark Bedane, the former president of the Raiders, he is developing the arena. That'll be the first part of what Tim Lewicki now says is a $10 billion project.
Right, including Brightline eventually.
Right, Brightline is in the same space and in part of that space, but not part of it's not part of the 66 acres that Oakview controls. Brightline's completely different. It'll be on the opposite side. But yeah, that's where the Brightline station would go, near there. Lewicki has said this will be more expensive. We're talking more expensive than the city center, as you and I talked about that over the years. But the first part's going to be this arena that Mark Bedane is building. Randy Morton who ran the Bellagio, is involved with overseeing the hotel. The woman who oversaw all of Sands' convention business at now what is the Venetian Expo, the former Sands Expo, is overseeing conventions. I'll give you another little inside baseball tip. Rob Goldstein's son, Rob Goldstein's chairman and CEO of Las Vegas Sands, his son was the real estate who connected the real estate. He owned the real estate and sold it now, or is leasing it, or whatever the connection was with Tim Lewicki. So there's a Sands connection there. Sands on their earnings call last week was very committed to New York. They're very committed there. Patrick Dumont, the president, son-in-law of Miriam Adelson, said they're looking at other markets in the U.S. They're still interested, and their corporate headquarters is still in Las Vegas.
Okay, so why do you think they actually sold the properties? Was it just to get the cash to be able to utilize?
$6.25 billion, a lot of cash. I think they didn't want, at that point, they're focused on Asia. This was put into place, Sam, when Sheldon was still alive. I mean, I remember they announced they had contracted with one of the investment firms to market the Las Vegas properties for a possible sale.
All right,
so they were looking at this. It removes that headache and allows them to removes Las Vegas as an operating site and allows them to take this money and go elsewhere.
So this is kind of the Kirk Kerkorian philosophy of don't fall in love with your assets.
That was that is a great analogy. He didn't, Kirk Kerkorian always said he never fell in love with everything. How many times did he buy and sell different things? I mean, that was Kirk Kerkorian. There were other people that fell in love with their assets, and they and it hurt them in the end. So they didn't either went bankrupt or they didn't sell them at the right time.
Well, and and you can even look at a Phil Ruffin and say the same thing, which is he knew how to hang on to land long enough to be able to make a boatload of money off of it.
Except across the street here, he should have. I'm still surprised that deal didn't happen, where the Oakland A's would have gone over to the festival grounds here. I thought that was the way the folks that were pushing it on the north end of the strip here, Mr. Morello across the street, Sartini with Stratosphere, all of them were pushing, Ruffin to try to, to get the baseball stadium across the street, and it didn't happen. I thought that would have been the right move. But
yeah, but if you look at, naming all those same players, plus the Fontainebleau, and, he's got 100 acres sitting there, including Circus and the empty land that, by the way, had a huge festival over the last couple of days that was playing till midnight last night. There's still opportunity for Phil or his family.
Absolutely,
at some point
it's going to be valuable. If the Fontainebleau does well, opening in December, that obviously it pushes up the value of everybody else around them if it does well. So we'll see.
All right, let's take a break. More with Howard after this timeout.
The casino industry drove Nevada's economy for decades. By the 1990s, however, the state's sole industry was in sharp decline. Many were losing their homes, many were leaving the state. Is Reno on track to be the Detroit of the West? Was an October 2010 Reno Gazette-Journal headline. Nevada knew it was time for a change and a time to diversify. Story County took that lead, took risks, invested tens of millions transforming its desert into a place of opportunity and a future for Nevada families needing something new. That desert now provides thousands of high-paying tech, advanced manufacturing, and energy careers at companies like Tesla, Panasonic, Google, Switch, and Redwood Materials. Story County transformed Northern Nevada forever, and the tide of opportunity has raised all vessels through construction contracts, high-paying careers, and the power of payroll. Tens of millions have been generated in sales and property tax, permits, and other revenues for Reno, Sparks, Washoe County, and for all of Nevada. Enough, in fact, to generate a surplus after public services are provided. And best of all, a sustainable economic climate has been created, enabling our children to stay in Nevada and live prosperous lives in their home state. Story County, improving Northern Nevada one industry at a time.
$200,000 Cars and Cash giveaways at Carson Valley Inn. Cash and prize drawings Thursdays and Saturdays. Plus, win a 2023 Ford F-150 or we'll pay you cash instead. Don't miss your chance to play and win. Cars and Cash at the Carson Valley Inn.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with gaming reporter for the Nevada Independent, Howard Stutz. Any shock about Scott Sabella being gone from Resorts World?
It was very weird because it was in February, the gaming board abruptly ended the investigation that we knew was going on. The board never said they were investigating him, and traditionally the board does not say when an investigation ends. So it was very odd that they just said we've ended this investigation, and then all of a sudden, how many months later, announces that Resorts World announces that he's out. It was being done and it was announced by some New York firm that I never heard of, made the announcement.
Right.
What's hard is this is a casino that's owned by a Malaysian company, Genting Berhad, very wealthy, but it's not a public company. So we don't know, the public in Malaysia, it's very different. So we don't know all the ins and outs. There's been a lot of, you've heard all the speculation with the gamblers and the lawsuits. Let's see how long the new CEO lasts, if he's interim or if they're going to completely change management. So we don't get like different companies, an MGM or a Caesars or a Wynn. We know if there's what issues are going on with properties. Are they getting people into the conventions? Are the hotel rooms filled? We don't know about this with Resorts World. Hilton does manage the rooms. It does have the rooms there. So I can't remember. I was in there for something, I don't know how many months ago, just for an event or something, and it seemed normal. It was busy, but then again, everything's busy on a Saturday night here in Vegas. So we'll see. I don't know, but it was kind of a surprise, and we'll see. I guess it was a surprise. We'll just see what happens next, if there's any fallout.
Alex Morello is doing incredibly well with the Sahara in Las Vegas. Announces recently that he's going to invest up to $1 billion into the Reno property, including a 10,000-seat arena for the men's basketball team from UNR. Your thoughts?
Well, my biggest question was immediately. Well, I thought it was a great idea for the arena. You know, what I've talked to people up in Reno, they said this is something we've really needed, because this is an arena that will not just have basketball, you know, for UNR men's basketball. It will have concerts and other special events, you know, right outside there at the Grand Sierra. Mr. Morello owns the Arizona Coyotes. He's not moving the Arizona Coyotes to Reno, but you could see some preseason games for the Arizona Coyotes. You could see maybe a G League basketball team, you know, the NBA minor league team like we have out here in Vegas. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity with it. I think what was fascinating was how he's activating the water, the lake, you know, with the golf, and he's also building affordable housing for his employees. On one
very
part
smart.
Of it. Very smart. And then will he? You know, we're probably 6 years away maybe from a hotel tower, but that's part of it. But he's doing the right thing. That's all. You live up there. You know that area better than I do. The land, it's a huge amount of land that's just sat untouched.
Oh, it's 150 acres.
Now he's going to go ahead and activate a lot of that land.
And he's going to kick everybody else in the butt to up their game as well, because not that they're doing a bad job, but he's elevating. They're going to have to elevate. Well,
you're going to see the Carano's going to have to elevate with the row, and I'm sure John Ferrahi's going to have to elevate a little bit more with Atlantis. So Morello's a player, and he will be. He's a player down here. He's done very good job getting the Sahara back to and activated and moving it forward.
Love that noodle bar, and that's where we have to leave it. Thank you as always, Howard. We'll be right back.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Event Center sits at the heart of the Las Vegas Strip. 2 floors of meeting and event space are ideal for groups and conventions. Stay in one of 200 luxurious rooms and suites. Brand your event throughout the property. Flexible event spaces make for easy planning and personalization. Take over the entire hotel with a full buyout option.
Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers, and thanks to everyone at the Ahern Hotel in Las Vegas for their help, including Don, Shane, Crystal, and George. We'll see you.